Welcome back, Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG. I'm Dan Dyker along with Al Losi. One thing we wanted to show you before we get into our discussion with the 33 of Matt Henderson today. New to the racetrack this year, I think it went off without a hitch. The new 6x6 dash with the North Country Contractor Sportsman. Don't know how much of it you got to see from the pits, but I think that is a huge addition to the racetrack.
I heard the fans really enjoyed it after the races. They were all talking about it down in the pits.
You've got Jason Dummer, you've got Greg Scheck, you've got Mr. Meyer out there, you've got Danny Gilster, Jimmy Gilster. The thing I like about this is if you follow the 6x6 dash with the late models, it's kind of expected on maybe 2 or 3 cars that may be in all the time. 6x6 dash with a Sportsman, this is, as Matt had just said during the break, is so wide open. You don't know who's going to be in this race every weekend.
And that's true. And another thing, too, that's really interesting to watch during this race and during the late model, watch the fans. They're all, most of them are standing up watching, but everybody's focused on this race.
And we'll talk about the Gilsters here in a couple weeks. Jimmy Crack Corn Gilster going to his older body and just destroyed the field this weekend. He was on fire as it was a battle of the Gilsters for the feature win, but kudos to track manager Chuck Deary. I think the 6x6 dash is going to go off this year with a lot of fan support, and was really happy to see how that ended up. Going from the Sportsman back to the late models, he currently sits third in points this year. He was the 2010 Best Appearing Car Award winner. That was the race team balloting. He's got a pretty cool website called inthehunt.com. He drives a Quick Trip NASCAR late model number 33, Matt Henderson, and I had to drag his father John in for the program as well. Guys, how are we doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Week 1 is in the books. How did it feel to get back on the track?
We've been itching for a long time, but did a lot of work over the off season, and the car wasn't very good on Saturday night, but all in all, we loaded up in one piece and we managed to get third, and overall it was a pretty good night.
You told me as I talked to you in the pits, I asked you just a basic how's the season going to go, or however whatever the question was I posed, and you said flat out, this is my year, and then you stopped talking.
Yeah.
And then you followed it up with a heat race win and a third place finish.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this year I'm just more confident than any of the other years, and me and Dad, mostly Dad, worked hard over the winter, and we think we got all our I's dotted and T's crossed, and we're hoping to go out there and kick some butt this year.
If you look at Matt's hotshot card from last year, if you notice the sunglasses, it says in the hunt. Are you still in the hunt?
Oh yeah, we're always in the hunt. That's actually one of our sponsors, inthehunt.com. Basically, it's just, it can be anything you want. So in the hunt to me is we're in the hunt to win races, and hopefully at the end of the year be there for the championship. And
take us back a couple of years. I know when I moved to the area, you were just coming out of go-karts, and you didn't mess around at the racetrack. You went from go-karts and jumped right into a late model. And it seemed as though, from what I'd heard being new to the area, the transition period didn't take you long to learn the 5/8 mile oval.
Well, it was definitely a lot different, obviously, with all the suspension and all that horsepower. But, racing's racing. You're still going to use the same style racing, and there's just as much work that goes into a go-kart than there is a late model. And I guess the biggest part was just, all new people to race with, and got all that power behind you. And I don't know, it was a big learning curve, but it's still racing. And Dad helped Mike Belling for 7 years, so instead of going for Thunderstock or Sportsman, he knew more about a late model, so we figured might as well just jump in, both feet in, So we just started in late model, and then I think for how many years we've been racing compared to a lot of the guys up there, we're doing pretty good.
Had to bring John in the program because I know John quite closely as long as I've been at the Crosse Speedway. John, what was the reaction the day that Matt came to you and said, I want to go on the big track?
Well, I don't know that it was really a decision of his. I think I kind of made that decision for him. Just like he said, I had been working and helping at the track for so long, and I know I bought that first car for him when he was 16, and we actually went to the track and did some practices and just got a, took it easy. We actually had quite a few people tell me, put them in, let them go. And I just didn't do that, just out of respect of all the other drivers. And it's, them cars are expensive. And we just wanted to be respectful to everyone else out there and just get some seat time. So that's kind of how we got going and tried to take it easy out there. I didn't give them the most powerful motor the first year. I didn't, just held them back a little bit because it's all about seat time.
Right. And I know some of the drivers out there this year told me the same thing in the pits this weekend. Nick Clements, Mike Sauter, Steve Owen, they know that they're not going to win a championship. Or at least that's what they say. I don't know the way Clements has started out, that may be a different story. And I thought Mike Sauter was very impressive this weekend as well. And Steve Owens actually looked pretty good as well. Nice. But that's one of the things is you got to have the seat time. You can't have the aspiration of I'm going to go out my first year and win a track championship. It very rarely happens, and I don't even know when the last time, if that's even happened on the Crosse, that a Rookie of the Year has actually won the track championship. Has it paid off, though? Has holding Matt back and seeing what he did Saturday night to start the season, do you feel it's paid off?
I think so. I think, like I say, I think he's been very cautious out there. He don't get tangled up a lot in things. He's proud of his car. He likes bringing it home without scratches and dents, and he likes to win too. But sometimes pushing the issue just gets you in trouble. And a second, third, fourth, fifth, or 10th is better than taking it home in behind the hook. So
right, because you can always make the points up later on in the season. If you finish 10th on a night, fine, you can come back out the next weekend. You wreck, and you have the possibility of not coming back the next weekend. Now you're 2 weeks down, depending upon your finishing position, and you're talking some big-time points right there that are going to be very, very hard to make up. When we return, we're going to show you some highlights of Matt this past weekend. He got his win to start the season, get a third-place finish in the feature, and a very nice heat race win. And the most exciting time, besides probably Matt getting the heat race win to me, was watching Matt and Skylar Holzhausen and Michael Sauter lap after lap after lap. Those three youngsters were not going to break out of the second pack that Matt was leading all the way through the second half of that race. And it was very exciting to watch. And as a watcher of races, I recommend you, when you're at the racetrack, don't always watch the first car or the second car as they go by, because if you watch some of the battles that ensue for different positions like what Matt was involved in this weekend, it makes it double exciting. We'll be right back on the Seven Rivers Racing Show here on KQEG TV.